Hey friends, it's Pastor Mike from Fellowship Church with another midweek message. Always good to connect with you, always love to share with you, and I am so grateful for all of you and especially for your the connection and the viewing of the Sunday morning services. I sure miss having you around here, but it's always good to connect with you. Like a lot of you, I sure have been watching the results of all of the rain that fell over the course of the weekend and all of the flooding. A lot of people we know have water in their basements and water in their backyards and so on, but I'll tell you something I saw on the news this morning that really kind of caught my attention. There's a dam that broke over on the east side of the state, and there's the danger of flooding in the town of Midland and maybe even some other towns downstream. Watching that video, though, it reminded me that God says in the Old Testament that He desires to throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out a blessing that we can't contain. And so watching that water pour over that dam, and flooding that area, I know it's an awful thing, but it just reminds me of how God loves to work. And maybe in your own life today, God is desiring to throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out blessings that you can't control, can't contain either. So I hope that's true for all of you. Friends, a message to share with you for the day, though, comes from the book of Malachi. It's really the last couple of verses in the Old Testament. And God says in that book of Malachi that He desires to turn the hearts of the fathers back to their children and the hearts of the children back to their fathers. That's God's desire to do some steering. God is in the steering business. He wants to turn things, and in this case, He's turning hearts. In the same way that you and I would turn our cars with a steering wheel, God's desire is to use occasions and events and circumstances to turn our hearts. And that gets me thinking. I can't help but think that maybe one of the offshoots or one of the results of this viral pandemic that we're all living in is that God is using it to turn hearts. Before the pandemic, friends, I used to hear so many people tell me how busy they were. Oh, their calendars are so full, and the kids are here and there, and moms and dads, they never have a chance to eat together anymore. And yet now, with our calendars cleaned off a bit, and a lot of things that we can't do, and of course we mourn the things that we can't do, God is using this time to turn hearts back toward home. I'm hearing stories of family game nights. I never used to hear about that in the past. I'm hearing stories of families eating dinner together, all of them at the same table, having dinner together. I think, wow, God, are you using this viral pandemic, as frightening as it may be, and as worrisome as it may be, and none of us likes to be confined and having rights taken away and all that, but God, are you using this pandemic to turn hearts back toward home and to strengthen family relationships? Is that your desire, oh God? Friends, it's possible, because God always loves to do His greatest work in families. The story of the Bible is God working in families and then God working through those families to impact people around them. That's still His desire today. May it be so in your family, and may God be turning hearts in your family back towards home. May that be the case in the midst of this virus. Friends, please know that we're still praying for you, still love you dearly, praying that God would keep you safe and continue to work in your home as well. Have a great week. God bless. Take care.